Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're not, hi again. This is my channel. I love doing DIYs. I love doing thrift flips. I do a lot of Dollar Tree item DIYs. And I also love to make wreaths. And I also do a lot of holiday items. So if you like what you see, then I would ask that you would hit that subscribe button. It's a red subscribe button that you'll see. And also hit the bell and leave me a comment and also give me a thumbs up because I love to hear what you guys think. So without further ado, let's start out with DIY number 1. Today is all about Patriotic. 4th of July is coming. So I have this star that I got from Joann's for like 99 cents. No lie. They were like 75% off everything. So what I did is I took my Waverly White chalk paint and I am going to paint this whole star, inside, outside, the rims, everything. The whole thing is going to be painted with my white chalk paint. And then you just tell me with that piece of paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. I love getting their scrapbooking paper. They have a lot of good ones. So whenever they have it on sale, I always pick some up that I know that I'll use in some DIYs and things like that. So, and they have 50% off quite a bit. So there it is, all done. I gave this about 2 coats. And now what I'm going to do is I want to make it look really distressed and rustic. I love that look. I love farmhouse. So I'm taking my Waverly Antique Wax and I am just going in with my little chip brush and I'm kind of like just dabbing the outer side of the star. So just the rim of the star all the way around. I am going to keep going and doing that. So my brush is fairly dry. You don't want to have it real wet when you do this. But I just dab it and then I kind of wipe it on my little mat there. And I just go in and I just kind of dab and kind of just make it look really distressed. And then I go in and I just kind of do the whole star. So I did the inside, the outside, everything. And then I go in with my little sander, and this is I love this sander. It's my finger sander. And I will have that in the description box below where you can find these. I get mine on Amazon, and I absolutely love this thing. It is so awesome. I've seen a few other crafters with it, and I had to get it, and it's great. So now what I'm going to do with that scrapbook paper that you saw, I am going to trace the outside of my star, and then we're just going to cut it out, and then we will glue it on to the back of my star. So like I said, I'm just going to cut it out with my scissors. I don't show you all that. And then I'm just going to use my glue gun and I'm going to glue this to the back of my star. And guys, this turns out so stinking cute. And this was so easy. So now I'm just going to glue it on, and any edges that I missed or whatever, I just trimmed off. So there it is, looking all cute. I love it. And then I made this bow, and this bow I already had made for a previous DIY. So it's just a simple bow. I got part of the bow is from Dollar Tree, and I just added ribbon to it to make it look a little bit better and nicer and high quality. And then I took one of these laser cut stars that you get at the Dollar Tree, and I just hot glued that to the front of my star. And there it is, all done. Really easy, guys. So now DIY number 2. This one's really simple too. I saw somebody do this, and I can't remember, I think it's Amber did this on her channel, and I will have her link down below to her channel. She's an awesome DIYer. And what she did is she took an old frame from Dollar Tree. So I'm taking this one that I had on hand. It had coffee on it, and this thing was stuck on so good, let me tell you. I had such a hard time getting it off, but I had to really scrape it. But I got it down to where I needed it, and I took some of these straws from the Dollar Tree, and I am just going to make an American flag with them. So I took all of the blue out, and what I do is I cut it down so I make the little square that would be the actual blue part of the flag. And then what I did is I traced out the rim part because I knew that my frame wasn't going to fit back in if I didn't make sure I made those pencil marks to know where to start and end with my straws. So that is why I traced that part out with my pencil. And then I went in and I just cut my straws to size. So I just kind of barely measured them and marked them with my little charcoal pencil that I have. And I just cut them, and then I'm just putting them in, and I'm going to make it look like an American flag. So this was so simple, you guys, and so easy. And this was really cheap to do too. So if you have one of these frames, which I'm sure you do, lots of us have a lot of frames from Dollar Tree just hanging around. And then if you could get these straws, I already had them. I got them like a long time ago. As soon as the stuff comes out at Dollar Tree, I hurry up and I grab it because I know it's going to be gone. And I always know that I could come up with something, and if I don't, I'm going to use it anyways. And it was only $1, right, guys? That's how I see it. So then I went in with my long strips, and now what I'm going to do is I put the frame back down inside, and I glued them down that way. I just found it easier to do like this so that I knew they would fit in perfectly inside that frame. And then I just went in and glued the whole thing down. So this was really, really simple to do. And so I just took the straws and I just made a line with my glue gun, and then I just started placing them down. And I just wanted to make sure everything fit. So this is a really cute piece to put out on a tier tray, or I mean, you can make it as big or as small as you want. You can even go smaller than this if you have a smaller frame from the Dollar Tree. But I used this one and I just kept going with it, and I just kept gluing until I got done. And actually these fit really nice and snug when I got finished, so it turned out really super cool, and I absolutely love it. But I couldn't stop there. I had to add something else to this. So of course I went in with one of my messy bows, and all I did was cut strips of ribbon that I had, and I tied them together with some twine, and then I just stuck them right there in the corner of my frame. And that's it for that DIY. So now on to DIY number 3. This one was super fun to make. Now, I used these wooden stars, and I took these boxes that we all see at Dollar Tree, and I was going to use these window clings, but I ended up not using them, so don't even pay attention to those. And I used the Crimson by Waverly, Ocean by Waverly, and White by Waverly. So what I did is I'm not using the top of the box. We're only going to be using the bottom of these boxes. So what I did is I took my chalk paint, my white chalk paint, and I colored one of the boxes in white, and I just gave this just one coat. I didn't need to give it 2 coats. It just wasn't necessary. And then I also colored one of the stars in white as well. And then I just kept going with this. So once I got the white box done and the star done, then I went on to the next one, and I did it with the red and the blue. So I let those dry, and then I went in with the Ocean Blue by Waverly, and I just did the same exact thing. I just painted the whole box with the chalk paint, and I also came in and I did the star in blue as well. So I'm doing one of each, one of the box in blue, one of the star in blue, one of white, and so on and so forth. So I kind of think you get what I'm doing here. And yeah, and this was like so easy to make too, and cheap. So these are great DIYs. And you guys, basically, I know a lot of people who decorate their home with Americana decor all the time. So, I mean, you could leave this stuff out all the time. You could put it outside in your lanai if you have one, or something like that, or on your porch. This stuff would be really cute to have out all year around. So now this is the red. This is Crimson by Waverly. And I just went in and did my star in the box in red as well. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the scrapbook paper again from Hobby Lobby, and I just traced my box, and I cut it a little bit smaller because I knew I needed to fit them in the box. And I'm going to put that strip inside, that scrap paper inside the box now. So I used some Mod Podge, and I just stuck it down, made sure it was really stuck down really well. I also went over the top of the paper as well, so just to make sure that it wouldn't curl up or anything like that. So I went in and did the red one, same thing. I used the Mod Podge, and then I just stuck it down, and I also went over the top of it with it as well, just to make sure it stays down. And I really did the corners really good. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make it look rustic, because you know me, I love rustic. And I went in with my antique wax by Waverly and my chip brush, and I just went over the edges, and then I'm going to go over all of the boxes. And I'm just going to do the inside, the outside. I'm just going to dry brush it really good and make it look super rustic and super pretty. And I did the same thing with the stars as well, which I think I show you that too. I'm quite sure I do. And I did go on the inside as well. And this is just dry brushing. So simple, guys, to do. And I went really lightly. I didn't go too dark. I just wanted it to look a little rustic, a little weathered, and there it is. And I also did the back because you will see the back. And I like to have my stuff finished, looking finished. And then I went in, with my sand paper, and I just sanded it a little bit around the edges and stuff. And I did the same thing with the red, and I do the same thing with the blue. So I went around the rims really good with the antique wax, and then I just went all around and dry brushed the whole box. Really simple, super easy. And this came out so cute. I know I keep saying that, but I just love the way this one turned out. I think this one was my favorite out of all the DIYs, but you guys got to let me know in the description box. Comment, let me know which one was your favorite. I love hearing from you guys. So now I'm going in, and with the star, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do the edges really good with my chippy brush, and then I'm just going to go over the whole thing with it, like so. And then I also do that with the red and the blue. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the red box and I'm going to attach a blue star. And all I did was glue it on with my little tips, and then I put a little bow, just a simple shoestring bow with my twine, and I trimmed it up a little bit, and there it is, all nice and cute. I love the way these look, guys. And then I went in and I did the same thing with the blue. I put my white star, and with the red I did on the white box. Really simple. And now I'm going to kind of kitty corner them, I guess you could call it. I'm going to stagger them on top of each other, going different directions, just to make it look super cool and interesting. And I love the way these turned out, you guys. And I hope you guys like it too. So I just used hot glue, and there they are, guys. So simple yet so cute. Okay, so on to DIY number 4. So this is the last DIY. This one I like too, though. What I did is I took one of these USA cardboard signs from Dollar Tree. I took the American flag. I used some scrapbook paper. I used that frame from Dollar Tree. And I also am using some napkins that I got at Hobby Lobby that have the American flag on it. And some picks that I also got from Hobby Lobby. And I got everything 40% off. So, and then 2 of the things were from Dollar Tree. So this was not expensive to do at all. So now I didn't realize that this frame is not wood. It is plastic. So this made it really difficult to paint with the antique wax because it just does not stick. So I sanded it first, hoping that when I went in with my little baby wipe that it would stick a little bit better, but it was not working with the baby wipe. So this is the struggles of a crafter. So you guys know we are not perfect. We struggle. And I struggled with this one. So this frame just wasn't working for me. So it's okay though. I kept going with it. I didn't give up. And I just kept going over it with the brush and with the antique wax. And I dried in between, and it did come out looking good, which you'll see in a second. So then I took the frame part, the inner part of the frame, and I just traced it on the piece of scrapbook paper that I'm going to be using. And it's just like shiplap paper, and they always have this at Hobby Lobby. And I just Mod Podged down on top of it, and then I'm going to stick it down on top of the little cardboard piece here, and I just did it real good. And now I'm going to take this USA, and this was like a little kit that you get with markers for kids basically to do, but I'm going to fancy it up with this beautiful, I love these napkins, you guys, that I got. And you get a bunch of them, and I don't know what I'm going to do with all of them, but I really love this. So my plan was to Mod Podge the napkin on the actual mason jar. And I took the layer off, of course, that's on the napkin, because you have to, otherwise it won't stick. And I'm just looking at it, and you can still see through. So what I did is I went in with the white Waverly chalk paint, and I just chalk painted the whole thing with the Waverly chalk paint. And I think I did 2 coats because I wanted to make sure that you weren't going to see any of this print come through on my napkin. So once I got that done, then I took my Mod Podge and I just went down and I just globbed a bunch on there because I wanted to make sure my napkin was going to stick really well. And I'm just going to place my napkin on top really gently so that I don't rip it. And I just use my fingers to kind of smooth it out as much as I possibly can. I did have bubbles, but it's okay. I think it just gives it more interest. I don't try to smooth it out too much because I don't want to rip it. And I think it turned out fine. So then what I did is once I got it smoothed out, I went in again with the Mod Podge on top just to make sure it was really stuck down. And it went through the, that napkin really well. And then what I did is I took my sand block, it's also from Dollar Tree, and I just went a downward motion and got that excess napkin off. So you want to go downward though, because you don't want to rip. And you want to make sure it's completely dry when you do this, guys. So I just went a downward motion and I just sanded it right off. Real simple. And then once I got that done, I went in and I got this ribbon from Amazon. I will have the link down below in case you guys are interested. But you get a whole bag. I think you get like 20 or 25 of these ribbons, burlap ribbons, and they are gorgeous. And I absolutely love them, and I use them in a lot of my DIYs. But I will have that link down below. I am not affiliated with them at all, though, guys, just so you know. It's just something I like to use. But I will have their link down below so that you can get some if you like. And what I did is I just hot glued it around the top of my mason jar just to make it look really rustic and give it some interest. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over that whole piece with my Waverly antique wax. And I just wanted to make it look a little bit darker and more rustic. I wanted to look really grungy. I love the grungy rustic look, guys. Can you tell? And then what I did is I came in and I kind of like did the edges too. And then I went over the whole thing with my antique wax. So I went over the mason jar as well and really gave it a good coat. And then I popped it back in my frame. And see how the frame is darker, guys? I just kept doing layers and it did work out very well. It just took a longer time to dry. And I wanted to pop up my mason jar, so I just stuck a piece of cardboard on the back of it, and then I'm just going to glue that whole thing down. But first, I'm going to take my picks that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to stick them in the back of my mason jar to make it look like they're coming out of the mason jar. So these are some stars that I got. And I love these picks because they're super rustic. And I love the colors. And I went in with the American flag too. I took one off of there. And then I just kind of just was messing around with them. I messed around like forever with these. But then I wanted to tone down the red a little bit. So I went in with more of the antique wax. And I toned it down even more to give it more of that deep red color. And it did work, and it made it look so much better. So I really like that. And then what I did is I took this other pick that I got from Hobby Lobby. Now this one was orange stickered, so I got it really cheap. And I just took a piece off, and I'm just going to stick these beads, kind of stuck it in there in between everything, just to give it a little more of a bunch in there. And I found it easier for me to stick these on the back first of my mason jar. So I just stuck a lot of glue, and made sure they stuck really good. And then I just kept going with each one of my picks, and I just glued them to the back first, got them the way I wanted them to be so that they were in place, and then I just stuck the whole thing down on the frame. So really, really simple. And I just kept going with it, like I said, and I just kept sticking them down where I wanted them, because I just found it easier to flip it over, put the glue down, stick it on. There you go. And then I just took the whole thing and I glued it down. And I did have to put some pressure down because of the picks, but I made sure I glued it really good, and I stuck it down in there. And this turned out so cute, you guys. I love it. And then I decided to take a piece of, I had a leftover piece from one of the projects. They had these little beads on it. They had red, white, and blue. And I decided to stick that on the end of my little mason jar just to have it hanging there. And then I stuck some more of these little burlap stars on there. And I just did the red, white, and the blue together, kind of in a bunch. And this turned out so cute, you guys. I absolutely love how this turned out. I have it up in my home. This stuff I might just keep up till Labor Day. I'm telling you. It just turned out so stinking cute. So I hope you guys like it. And like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching. And remember, stay crafty. Bye.